And joining us via Zoom is Kenneth Okonkwo, a legal practitioner and Labour Party chieftain. He's joining us live from Abuja. Good afternoon. And
good afternoon.
And thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, and thanks everybody watching it.
All right, let's cut to the chase now. What's this wrangling between the NLC and the Labour Party?
Well, you know, when you start doing something wrong, you start saying something wrong. What is going on in Labour Party is a conflict because the National Working Committee is not observing the constitution of Labour Party in their purported move to conduct a clandestine convention. Let me say it. I heard about that convention in the social media, like any other person. And I was the one calling the executives of the party to ask whether it was even true. Because people were asking me, you know, maybe because we were spokespersons for the election. Now, how can you be talking about a national convention and you go straight to do a national convention? Are they not aware that the constitution of the Labour Party demands that delegates from state congress must be members of the national convention? Are they not aware that it is the National Executive Council, not the National Working Committee, that has the right to make rules and regulation as regards to the convention? Let me tell you, in the Labour Party constitution, there is nothing, there's no power of the National Working Committee at all when it comes to the phrase national convention. Article 13, 3B, which shows the functions of the National Working Committee, did not give them any power whatsoever over the National Convention. It is the National Executive Council. And I'm talking about Article 13, 2B, XVIII, that have the power to make rules and regulation to decide on the conduct of election into any organ of the party. Where are the rules and regulation? When have the National Executive Council met to make the rules and regulation? And let me tell you, the people that are denigrating the NLC now, because NLC is saying that the right thing should be done. The same NLC, when Abure was thrown out by a renegade faction, forcefully from the National Secretariat, the same NLC organized and mobilized people to throw out those people and bring Abure and his people back. It is the same picketing that they used to restore Abure. Now they are using it the same way to tell Abure you should do the right thing. And Abure and his people are unashamedly insulting the NLC president, using such word. Imagine using the beating that they gave him illegally in Imo State to even taunt him. That's a shame. I feel embarrassed. He should be ashamed of himself. I said the NLC has been a prominent member of this. Let me tell you, by our constitution, NLC is part of the National Executive Council, not as a body. They are given power to elect one of our deputy national chairman. And that is why if you go to our constitution, they are member of the National Working Committee, they are member of the National Executive Council. For you to come out and demean them is very unfortunate. Abure tender an unreserved apology to the NLC chairman.
Okay, so Mr. Okonkwo, you are saying now that as a lawyer, what the party leader is doing is unconstitutional. Is that your stand?
Absolutely. Because you're talking about, is it an occultic clandestine group? Is Labour Party an occultic clandestine group that you will run and do a Nicodemus kind of national convention? I have been bemoaning and crying that INEC announced the result by 4:30 a.m. when people were sleeping. And the same Labour Party want to go and do another nocturnal national convention. If it is not good, if it is done by any other political party, it is not good if it is done by Labour Party. It is shameful. That convention is a mock convention. Well, I disassociate myself with it. I said the constitution is very clear. The rules and regulations, the guidelines, and I quoted the section for you, must be made by the National Executive Council. which NLC is part of by virtue of the fact that they are given the power to elect one of the deputy national chairmen.
Okay.
And then you're coming from nowhere. That's an ambush.
All right.
And then you're throwing blackmail and insult everywhere.
Okay, we get that. But what Abure is saying, Mr. Okonkwo, is that the NLC cannot dictate to the party on which way to go, whether to have a convention or not. That is one question. Then another, so we can hasten up on this. Then another question is, which way? What's the best way to resolve this whole issue?
Having a convention is a constitutional issue. Nobody is dictating it to you. As a matter of fact, the tenure of this government under Abure expired long time ago. They have been extended by the National Executive Council. So even if you come to that, you will see that they don't even have the power, because their tenure, this convention ought to have held long time ago. So the way to go about it is to do the right thing. Organize World Congress, organize State Congress, because most of them are appointed. Let me say it. The Constitution of Labour Party did not say you must do World Congress or State Congress before you do National Congress. But the Constitution says you must have delegates from the State Congress in the National Convention. So how do you do it? So you must have to organize. And moreover, most of the world executives, state executives, are appointed as it is now. How do you take appointed people to now appoint another delegate to go to National Convention? You don't build a party like that. You have to democratize from the world level. If there are people that are still using caretaker committees, you organize election, and then the State Congress, then they will elect the delegates that will come to the National Convention to choose the leaders in accordance with the rules and regulations made by National Executive Council. Then that is when you begin to talk about convention.
Okay.
Not when you just wake up and within a space of 2 weeks. Did you hear it? There was any advert? The National Convention is meant for the whole party. And then from nowhere you're saying you're having a convention. No, that's voodoo convention.
Okay.
That's voodoo.
Okay, Mr. Okonkwo, I think the picture is clearer now from your explanation. Thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo, a legal practitioner, joined us from Abuja to discuss more on the NLC versus the Labour Party, brouhaha going on currently.